Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going over the top Crystal Beetle teams. There is a slightly new formation which has allowed people to break even 110 billion damage today. Now for me, I'm not able to even break 100 billion, but I get pretty close to it. I'm going to show you the formation and then we're going to take a look at the crazy replays that we have. This is the formation. It doesn't matter where the main or illusion Phraesto are because you're not crimson contracting anyone. You have the resonating spell on one of your Phraestos. If you try this team with a lower ascended Phraesto, it is better for you to maybe go for Greatsword spell or Verdant spell. So try this team with Greatsword or Verdant spell as well. It will be important that you have the Mystic Charms onto Shakir to give him the skill power, and also to have the Insight Charms onto Ludovic for the skill power for him. Those are the most important charms on this team. So let's get right into the replay. We have, first of all, Barbell Sage's replay, where he got 112 billion damage. Look at the damage from Phraesto and Ludovic, and the reason Phraesto deals so much is because magic damage is kind of increased in effectiveness in Crystal Beetle, number one, and number two, you have all of your allies perfectly grouped up, and Shakir's providing that attack buff to both Phraesto and his illusion. And the resonating spell Phraesto will keep, because he gets so much energy generation as well because of this fog, he's basically permanently having that attack buff up on himself from casting his ultimate. And yeah, then the team just becomes crazy. But like I mentioned, if you maybe have a Legendary Plus Phraesto or even Mythic Plus, it might be better for you to run Greatsword spell or Verdant spell, because then it will benefit the whole team. Resonating spell is really only benefiting one of your Phraestos, and so like a highly invested Phraesto will be able to deal a lot of damage, but like a lower one will not. There we go, 112 billion damage, which is pretty crazy. Let's take a look at Hardy's replay, who also sent me a replay where he got 111 billion damage. We can watch it in slower speed to see what is going on. But the whole idea behind Crystal Beetle Orison, look, the boss can walk up to you. And I think those are the only bosses in the game that have, well, other than Lone Gaze, which can just jump around the map. But other than that, there's not really, bosses are pretty much stationary. But Crystal Beetle Orison, he can walk towards you, making Shakir really effective, because now Shakir is able to buff up his whole team with his Lupine's aura, and that is going to give all of them bonus attack buff, because the more allies he's buffing, the more attack buff he provides to all of them. And you have the crazy energy generation from the fog, and so Shakir is able to keep his ultimate up for the whole fight without any chance of him going down. Smokey is off to the side so that Smokey never gets interrupted for the whole fight. Basically a fully optimized team, and just dealing crazy amount of damage. But this is a new team compared to last week. Last week people were running different versions of this, and I'm going to show you those different versions in case they do better for you. But Phraesto is a really important part of all the top Crystal Beetle teams. I have one team I'll show at the end with no Phraesto, but it only gets around 50 billion damage. Like for me, it got 52 billion damage, so it doesn't even come close to these top performing teams. And even if you have like a lower ascended Phraesto, it's probably better to run him in this type of comp. But yeah, the magic charms, especially of Shakir and Ludovic, take these teams onto a completely another level. Harak is not going to be optimal for Crystal Beetle, and that's one thing you might have begun to notice right now, is that Harak is being a little bit replaced as the top team option in a couple of different bosses, partly because of the crazy magic charms we have. So I still do think Harak is a priority for your account, and for future seasons where we might not have insane magic charms, I think Harak will be the best. But right now, because of the Ludovic and Shakira charms you have, you want to try to incorporate all of them into all of your teams, and then it kind of doesn't leave room for Harak because you don't want him to devour those allies. Okay, so those are the top performing teams. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highest score I was able to do with the same team, which was 99.2 billion damage. Maybe if I ran it a couple more times, I'd be able to get up to 100 billion. When we take a look at the damage chart, again, it looks pretty much the same. Ludovic and Phraesto topping the damage chart by a huge margin, and Smokey also dealing a decent amount of damage. Now, if you don't want to run that team for whatever reason, there are other good team options. Like, if you take a look here, Talene team is very consistent and got like almost 97 billion on my best score, which with the Supreme Talene, not even Supreme Plus Talene. And this was the formation I used. Pretty much, so this is pretty much like, for me, it is almost tying the overall top team. And so it is a good option for you to run if the top team might not be working the best for you. So I believe the main Phraesto is in front of the Talene with the resonating spell on the Talene. And the idea behind running Talene Crystal Beetle, we can watch on 3 times speed, is in order for, like, you want her to be able to continuously cast her ultimate. The resonating spell can help that because you get that immunity to the knockup. And also the positioning of the Phraestos can somehow allow Talene to be protected from being knocked up. But we were unable to get that to happen right here. And so you're going to rely on the immunity of the resonating spell in order to keep our ultimate uptime high. And the other thing is you have high energy generation from the fog, and resonating spell also boosts your energy generation, so that can help you recast if you get interrupted. So that is basically the idea behind the team over here. But really good score, especially considering it's a Supreme Talene and not a Supreme Plus yet. Okay, we can take a look at the damage chart and then move on to the next team. So the damage chart for this, the 90, almost 97 billion. Talene did a good amount, and then Phraesto Ludovic still contributing the most damage to the team. Okay, now this is what I mentioned. You can try running this team with Greatsword spell or Verdant spell. If your Phraesto is less invested, it might do better for you because Greatsword and Verdant, they're going to increase Ludovic's damage. Ludovic will get more haste from Verdant, from more casting of his HP per second damage, and from Greatsword he'll just get more raw attack. So both of these will be good for if your Phraesto is less ascended. And good things to try. Now, one of the previous best teams, which was this one, with the main Phraesto in front of Illusion, Verdant spell to ramp up Ludovic's damage, as well as penetration for Lily May. This was one of the previous best teams, but it has now fallen down. Like, this is around getting 92 to 93 billion damage for me, whereas my top one for today is doing 99 billion damage. So this is not the best option, but like maybe you can give it a try if the other teams are not working out well for you. Because Lily May is still a pretty good option for this boss fight, and again, Shakir will be buffing up all of your allies here. But, yeah, the overall top team, which is running Mikola, is going to be more attack buff for your Phraesto and for your Ludovic to ramp up their damage more, because those are the main carries of this boss. So, yeah, if you have, like, as much attack buff for them, like Shakir, Smokey, and Mikola, that is going to maximize the damage. Okay. And then I will show you the final team, which is a Rainier team. No Phraesto, but Rainier Mythic Plus, of course. And it got 52 billion damage for me, which is not, like, you might be thinking, well, how can you ever compete? But the thing is, there still are going to be people out there who do not have Phraesto built, or maybe the top teams are not working for them. And then, so even if you can get 50 billion damage today, it could put you in the top 50 of your server, for example, depending on how competitive it is. I think that would be a possibility. And here we have the team. So Rainier Mythic Plus, Odie with the resonating spell, Mikola, Shakir, and then Lily May. So Lily May and Odie are your 2 key damage dealers. Odie is actually pretty good for this boss because magical damage is increased, and you have Rainier to increase the damage that is dealt by Odie and Lily May both. Shakir will need to have, again, you'll want to have the Mystic Magic Charms for Shakir, the Sorcery Charms for Lily May. Odie should have the Gale Charms, and Mikola should have any charm that gives her skill power, either Sorcery Charms or the other one, which gives her that. Those are the ones you want, basically, to increase the attack buff she provides for your team. And to recap the other charms, just briefly, we can go through that after this run, because we didn't specifically talk about it, but we did mention the 2 key ones, which are the Shakir and the Ludovic. Phraesto will want the Sorcery Charms, but even without them, he does pretty well. Like, I don't have the Sorcery Charms onto Phraesto, and he still is hitting really hard. Okay. So not a bad score. Like, before Phraesto existed, this would probably be one of the top teams, but now with Phraesto, the teams have gone crazy. Okay, so those are basically the recap of the teams. To recap the charms, you're going to want to have the Mystic Charms onto Shakir, the Sorcery Charms onto Lily May, Gale Charms onto Odie if you're running him. Apart from that, Blast Charms onto Talene, because that increases her damage the most. And looking at Ludovic, you'll want the Insight Charms onto him. That's really important for the skill power. Sonya, unfortunately, is not the top option in Dream Realm today. For Smokey, you just need to give him skill power. So either the Sorcery Charms or the Recovering Charms. Mikola will want either the Arcane Charms or the Sorcery Charms. Arcane Charms are slightly better for Dream Realm because it increases her own attack too, but her damage output is pretty low. Phraesto, ideally Sorcery Charms, but you can also go for the Energy on hit, Sturdy Charms, or you can just go for any Mythic Charms with the Broken or Rainbow set without having a set bonus, because you just want the basic stats onto him mainly. And that is the charm. Those are the charms for all of these heroes. Rainier doesn't matter. Just get him a full mythic set to give a higher attack buff to his position swap ally. So anyway, guys, hopefully this was helpful. Good luck getting a top score in the Crystal Beetle Dream Realm boss. And I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now. And thank you for watching.